I got to reduce this level of stress and I have to get more certainty back in my business.
It's a double-edged sword because you need to eliminate the need of yourself, but also you're getting dopamine hits from being needed. But I remember I got a call from a guy in tears. My wife's mom has cancer, and my wife has been in the office, unable to keep up with being with her mom. And now since we have your software, she's been able to spend all her time at her side while running the business.
My name's Dominic Rubino. Welcome to the Cabinet Maker Profit System podcast and YouTube channel. I'm really happy to have you here. Today, we're going to be talking to Brady Lewis. And really, the question's so basic and so simple. How do I grow this business without losing my mind? Do I have your attention yet? That's something we all deal with. How do I grow this thing without losing my mind? As we go into the new year, what a great topic to get you focused on what you need to do next. And every one of us has a different plan. Every one of us has a different shop and a different situation. I think you're really going to enjoy this interview with Brady. Stay tuned to the end. I'm going to give you an update on the Christmas water project. And I'm going to give you an update on the Traeger giveaway, an update on gold coaching and what's changed in 2026. I think you'll enjoy that. I'm going to give you an update on the foreman training that we run. And I'm also going to give you an update on my upcoming race schedule, just to keep things not so serious. So stay tuned for the end of the episode. But in the meantime, let's get to hear what Brady has to say. We'll see you on the other side. Mr. Brady Lewis, how are you?
Hey, Dominic, good. How are you?
Great to see you again after the holiday season.
You're still alive. I'm still alive. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. Excited to talk today.
I know. It is good. And you and I keep running across each other in the industry without knowing it, because I think we probably come up in other
friends out the yin yang, right?
Yeah, which is great. So it's about time you're on the show, Brady. Come on, man.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, come on, man. What took us so long?
Finally made it happen.
Yeah. Well, listen, you and I know each other, and a bunch of people out there know who you are, but maybe some don't. So can I ask with kind of a rude and abrupt question to start your 2026?
It's not rude at all.
I got to ask the question, man.
Oh, go ahead.
This is part of the thing. Everybody's waiting for me to ask this question, see if it gets you riled up. Here we go. Brady Lewis, who the heck are you? And how is it that you come to be speaking to all these forward-facing cabinet makers and mill workers and closet business owners all over the world?
It's a great question. I told you not rude. I knew it wouldn't be rude.
I just tried to dress it up.
So at my very core, I grew up in a cabinet shop. My dad started a cabinet shop in a chicken coop, and I remember scooping up sawdust, and he'd hide dollar bills in the piles so that
really
he'd teach me how to work. So,
okay, that's nice.
At my very core, the simple answer is I'm a woodworker at the heart, and I spent my whole childhood and early 20s and 30s in a shop growing it, and drifted a little bit to the software end of things at the later end of my career. And so that's what brings me here today.
Yeah. I mean, that's how people know you, is that side. Because you don't be shy. What company do you carry the flag for?
It's Allmoxy.
Yeah. I think that's where a lot of people know you from.
Yeah. Some people might know me from the regional outsourced manufacturer company, Lewis Cabinet Specialties.
Right.
So that was my previous company. My dad started that, grew that with my brothers, and now I'm growing Allmoxy with my brothers as well.
Nice. And just to put a dot on the map, where are you guys based?
Intermountain West, so we're in northern Utah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you?
It's the most beautiful place on earth. Come visit us.
Yeah. I hiked through the Grand Gulch once. Is that near you?
Grand Gulch.
Yeah.
I think that's near Grand Canyon, right?
It's closer to the Grand Canyon, but man, it was just beautiful. The pueblos and just hiking through those river canyons, hoping it wasn't going to rain. You just hear about flash floods all the time.
Yeah. So, some more outdoorsy people are probably yelling at me right now, like, "Come on, man, you don't know."
It's okay.
When you live here, you take it for granted a little bit.
I know, right? Who would have thought? Right?
I have my spots, and we kind of go to those.
You keep going to the same spots, but it is beautiful out there. It is stunningly beautiful. For anybody who hasn't gone out that way, it's just
especially if you get the right time of year.
Yeah, when there's not flash floods in those canyons. But hey, listen, today I've got you here because I wanted to ask you this question. How do I grow this business without losing my mind? And I know that doesn't even sound like a very specific question, but you and I were chatting, and it turns out that that's kind of the first phone call or email, text, whatever, that we get from people. It kind of boils down to, I'm really good on the tools. Suddenly I look around, I got a business. We're doing $2-3 million, but I'm going bonkers. I never see my family. I'm losing what's left of my hair. You, by the way, have not lost any hair at all.
Luckily, my grandpa died with a full head of hair, so I'm hoping I got his.
Yeah. Well, and I hope you last 10 years longer than he made it. There you go. But how do I run this business without losing my mind?
It's a great question. And my mind instantly goes back to kind of where I already came from, my childhood and growing up in the industry. I remember as a kid, my dad just being stressed out of his mind all the time. He started a shop. He was sole employee. He quit his steel mill job to grow a company in my grandma's chicken coop. And I watched him, one customer at a time build his business until he had 2, 3, 10 employees. And that was about when, I was hitting adolescence. And I remember registering that he was throwing up many mornings before he would go to work.
From stress or what?
Stress, yeah.
Oh, gee, I'm sorry.
He was trying to grow this business and manage the thing, and he did it quietly. I just heard him, and I asked him one night, and I found out that that's what was going on. And in my little kid mind, from that moment on, I just had a chip on my shoulder to help people like my dad.
Yeah.
When I could, and I didn't know what that meant. In fact, the next 10 years, I actually hated the shop. I hated everything about my dad's business because it meant me standing on a milk crate, sanding doors. And I hated the monopoly.
Door after door after door.
Yeah. And I would invent machines in my mind that would replace me and processes that would replace me. And so I kind of hated it. But eventually, I came back to, I got to help him. And to answer your question, you need systems. You need to be able to rely on good systems. And in today's day and age, that means automation, machinery, and it means good software, good data management. So the short answer is that, and I'm a part of that. And, my software is only one way to do that. There's a lot of things out there. But that's the short answer.
I have to laugh. And I just want to remind everybody out there who are shaking their heads listening to your answer. And your answer is the same as mine, by the way. I'm not laughing at your answer. I'm laughing for all of us. I just want to be a woodworker. I didn't get into this because I want to be good at data management, building systems, hiring and managing people, maximizing throughput efficiency. What? I'm just a really good craftsman. And I look around and I've got a $2 or $3 million business with a bunch of people relying on me and da-da-da. It's so funny that we find ourselves here and it's not where we started.
The reality is you've got two paths. You can retreat and make it fun, and you can do it in your garage at night, and you don't have any of the stress and headache of having it feed your family. Or you've got to put the time in, and you've got to realize that if you get to do your hobby as something that puts food on the table, then you have to grow those other parts of the business too.
Yeah.
So you just have to accept it and figure out how to do that with as little friction as possible.
Yeah. You can run this business like Santa Claus, just making wooden toys and trains, right? Doing it for the goodness of your heart. Or, I like to remind people of this, and we just came through the holiday season, but the work that the owners are doing right now is going to put food on the table for the people that work for them in 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
And in 2 or 3 months, it's vacation season, and people are going to be buying ATVs and fixing their trailers and maybe going to their cottage. And the work that we're doing today actually gives them that gift of a solid salary and a consistent job. So Santa gives stuff away for free. We facilitate it as business owners.
The beautiful thing is we've never lived in a more exciting time to be a small business owner.
I totally agree. Yeah.
Even 5 years ago, things like compliance and legal and these things, how do I deal with the state of Pennsylvania? These things have all been difficult in the past. Now we're literally speaking into our phones and getting immediate, powerful answers. There's all kinds of software out there that can manage all these different parts of your business, for $69 a month, and you're good to go. Even 5 years ago, it just didn't exist. You were winging it and you were doing it on your own, and it was difficult.
Hey, listen, in the 80s, let's say the 90s. In the 90s, I was selling phone systems. If you wanted to start a business, you needed to invest $40,000 or $50,000 in phone system. That's before you sold a thing. You opened the doors, you signed a lease, or you bought the building, and you had to put phones on desks. That's gone. Like you just said, talking into your cell phone or using a time tracking app, whatever you're doing. At some point, you got to move this out of the garage. And the people who are listening to this show are in that range of let's say $1 million in sales. right? 85, 86 grand a month. Maybe they've got 6 or 7 people. That's generally who listens to this show, all the way up to people doing 10s and 20s. And I know there's a couple out there doing 60 and 80 million a year. So they're well beyond that point, but they're still asking us the same questions. I got to reduce this level of stress, and I have to get more certainty back in my business.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, there's no better time. I mean, it's so fun to see all of the systems coming online daily. Even it's the harder challenge is almost keeping up and just having a good idea of the landscape and not worrying. Am I using the best one? Am I using one that's outdated, by 2 years?
Yeah. Hey, if you guys know me, you know I love Sun Tzu. His book is The Art of War. But you might also know that my old business partner is Brian Tracy. He's a famous author and business strategist. Brian Tracy once said, "Leaders think and talk about solutions. Followers think and talk about problems." Well, let me ask you, which one of those is your foreman doing today? And then think about Sun Tzu, the great general. And he said, in the midst of chaos, there's also opportunity. If your shop feels like chaos, the opportunity is to train your foreman to lead. That's what Foreman 101 is all about. Join me for a free info call. You, the owner, and your foreman have to attend together. Get on that wait list for the next free information session. Just text me at 315-903-7853 and say foreman training, and we'll get you on the list. Now, you mentioned a couple of things that somebody has to do from your perspective if they want to grow the business without losing their mind. And you mentioned SOPs. So the second question I get is, Dom, I know I need SOPs, but where do I start?
It's a good question. I mean, and I think depending on the type of company you are, there's a lot of different software out there for that. But, one of my favorite things to do lately is open up a GPT or AI of your choice and just start talking. Tell it. Just be frank with it. Hey, I need SOPs and I don't know where to start. Right? Hey, I'm too lazy to do these. Or
just be honest.
I hate you, AI, but I need help. Help me. But you can be honest with it, and it can help you along. And to whatever degree of technology you're comfortable with, it can actually help get you into a place where you're checking boxes off. And so it'll help you organize the chaos in your mind. And that's one of my new favorite things to do. And it's really simple. Just start talking and be honest. That's the great thing about AI. You don't have to reveal in front of your employees that you don't have a clue what you're doing. You don't know what an SOP is. You don't know how to create one. You don't know what software's out there. Just start talking. Tell it you don't.
Yeah.
Help you.
It'll educate you. Now, there are some challenges. AI is, as you know, is not the be all and end all, but I'll tell you what, it gets you close. And the better you get at asking it questions, or the better I get, let me take responsibility here. The better I get at asking it questions and then having my BS meter way high, the better it works for me as a tool.
Yeah. And I'm not coming on here to, this isn't an AI commercial or anything. It has its limitations. It's not a silver bullet.
Yeah.
But my point is, lately it's a catalyst. If you don't know where to start, it's a good way to get your butt moving.
Yeah. If we go back to the question of I'll tell you how I answer that same question as Dom. I know I need SOPs. I know we need systems. We call them simple systems. We've called it that for years and years, simple systems, which is SOPs. I'll quite often say or pose the question to the owner. I'm like, what is it you really want to do? And they'll say, well, I want to be more profitable, or I need to get my guys on board. I'm like, okay, I got to get my guys on board with changes. Why can't you? And they'll say, I can't because of this, and that. 4 things. I'm like, okay, there's your first SOPs. Let's go. If that's a recurring problem, why you can't do what you need to do, even though you're the owner, why don't we start there?
Yeah, that's a great point. I look back early in my career when I was running my dad's shop. What I would do is I would literally just wait for the door to open from the shop. And it did, every 2 minutes. And whatever problem walked through that door, I would just think in terms of systems. Okay, what would I need to build to never answer this question again? What is it that would eliminate that person ever coming through that door and asking me that thing ever again? You'll be amazed at what that does for you. I mean, sometimes it sends you into a 3-month project. Sometimes it's as easy as give them a pen and a paper and a clipboard and have them write down this thing and put it over there.
Yeah.
And just start small, but think in terms of systems and just let the lack of systems bother you, I think is what it really comes down to.
Wow. What a great point. Don't just live in the.
Yeah. A lot of small business owners, If we're being honest with ourselves, right, we live for the value that we perceive comes from us being needed, right?
Mm.
So the fact that my employees need me all day becomes my identity in a way, right? And so it's a double-edged sword because you need to eliminate the need of yourself, but also you're getting dopamine hits from being needed. So
Yeah.
you have to come to grips with that identity, and if you really want to grow your business, you need to build yourself out of it. And don't here's the secret. Don't worry, you're never going to.
Yeah.
You're never going to stop being needed as long as you keep growing.
Yeah. What a great point, by the way. You sound a lot like a business coach.
Well, I might need a job here in a while, so please.
Yeah. Well, we've got 5 other coaches on the team now. We're growing leaps and bounds. So maybe, yeah, we might consider you, Brady. Maybe.
But don't let any of my customers think that Allmoxy's not doing well. That's
no,
not,
no. We're joking.
I mean, after retirement, I would love
After,
to get
yeah.
coaching.
We're all joking here.
More gray hair.
The interesting thing is a lot of people, when we talk about succession planning, it's hard for an owner to let go. It would be hard for me. I've sold a couple of companies now, and it's hard to walk away. Like the last time you leave the office or the shop and you're like, that's not mine. Those people don't work for me anymore. The customers can't rely on me anymore. I hope all the promises that I made in the past are still going to be kept. It's hard. It's easy to say it. And here we are just using words. It's hard to feel it.
Yeah.
Right.
I live near to where Lewis Cabinet operates, right? And so I see these trucks going down the freeway with my name on them, but they're not mine.
Oh, incredible. Yeah.
The logo's changed. The colors are changed. I don't know who that truck is going to today, but it can be a proud moment too. And so I equate it a little bit like, I just sent my daughter off to Thailand, and it was really difficult to send her off. It's bittersweet, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to let something go, but also if you look at it in the correct lens, it's something you can look at it as an accomplishment worth fighting for.
Yeah. Very similar, by the way. My daughter just went away for a semester of college. And I don't mind telling you, I'm a wuss. A piece of my heart went with her.
My eyes are probably still red. Just yesterday, and I thought it would be fine.
Yeah.
I was so excited for her. I instigated the whole thing. But the day, the moment I dropped her off, man, it was tough.
Right. But I'll take your point on that. That's a vision of success. We've done what we needed to do for them so that their next stage in their life is to go and explore and learn new things and come back. And
so a correlation to business here, I dropped that same daughter off at kindergarten every day, and we had to peel her off me, right? It was frustrating in the moment.
Yeah.
But also it made me feel significant as a father. Mm-hmm. And to bring that into business terms and growing your business and succession planning, it's nice to feel needed by your employees. In other words, them hanging on you all day.
Yeah.
But you need to let the birdie fly. I mean, help it to grow to where it does not need you. And you'll feel that sense of satisfaction when the birdie flies.
Yeah. When your estimator's doing the estimating, your engineer's doing the engineering, your foreman's doing the foremaning, if that's a word.
I like it. We're going with it.
Yeah. Well, but look, I'm a leader of people. Actually, one of my millwork clients, this was years ago, he opened up one of our coaching meetings with the most insightful thing I'd ever heard. And he goes, Dom, I finally realized my people are my tools. And of course, he didn't mean that in any disrespectful way at all, but he'd finally understood that he was moving up he'd given himself a promotion in the company. He no longer had to be the overseer foreman, the overseer of purchasing and all those things. He's like, no, my people are my tools. If I have a question about purchasing, I ask my purchaser. If I have a question about estimating, I ask my estimator or my designer. And it took a while for him to get there. But once that click happened, actually, I'll tell you a cool story and then you tell me one from your side. Once that click happened, suppose the economic term would be vertical integration. They've now gone on to buy 2 other millwork shops, an upholstery shop, a glass shop, and a steel shop because he made that click in his mind.
And you can mitigate if you boil down the psychology of why you don't want to give something up. There is the significance part, right? Which we just call it for what it is, and you can get over it. But there's usually a piece of expertise there that you have that you are unable to articulate to someone else or to a system.
Yeah.
And that's why this becomes so powerful is when you combine an able employee that that you now trust and an SOP or a system that you've been able to disseminate that information into properly,
Mhm.
that combination is what is going to put you at ease. Until then, you're right to be nervous because there's that expertise in your mind that you haven't been able to disseminate properly. So figuring out what that is, finding either a system or an SOP, a piece of software, a process, and then really boiling it down and saying, and by the way, this is another thing that an AI is good at. Hey, I'm nervous about giving this up. Help me figure out why. Interview me.
Yeah.
Give me 25 questions to figure out what's at the root of this. You'll usually find it. You'll figure out, you know what? It's because I know the graphic design of my company better than anyone, and I'm nervous that someone else isn't
Yeah.
going to get the logo right. Whatever it is, right?
Right. Yeah. It exists on so many different levels for different people. Did I ever tell you the story about the shepherd and the sheepdog? Let me tell you something. A shepherd can't watch every sheep at the same time. That's why he's got sheepdogs, right? To keep the flock moving in the right direction, get them from one end of the farm to the other safely and on time. So in your shop, I want you to think of your foreman as the sheepdog. If he's not trained, healthy, and taken care of, the whole crew scatters and jobs fall apart. That's why I run Foreman 101 training. It is specifically designed to show foremen how to lead the crew, not just swing a hammer. We're running a free 1-hour info call where owners and foremen have to attend together. Get on the wait list for the next free info session. Just text me at 315-903-7853 and say foreman training, and we'll get you on the list.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, tell us a cool success story. Now, here we're really big on confidentiality because we're a professional organization. So, scrub the names out, and scrub the company out, and, even the location. But tell us a cool use case so that people understand what it looks like when, well, I'll go back to the beginning question. Let me look at my notes. How do I grow this business without losing my mind? So somebody called you about that however long ago. And what do they look like now? Give us that sort of arc of a story.
The first one that comes to my mind is this. So I told you I had a chip on my shoulder. Well, fast forward, 10 years, I wanted to get married. So I realized I got to go work for my dad. And
I'm not sure how you made those leaps, but we're going to let it go. Okay.
I needed money.
Hold on. At some point, did you meet a girl? Like you missed that part.
I had found her and I wanted to get married.
Okay.
And in order to, put together a household, I realized, okay, I need
a job.
Go to work and make money. My best shot is with my dad. I'm there at work and I realize, okay, I'm gonna go with this. And so I remember when, I crossed over from hating the industry to feeling that passion again. And I went to Atlanta IWF for the first time as an adult. And I saw all these people walking around in the aisles and they all looked like my dad.
Right.
And I remembered him throwing up and I remembered thinking, I want to help these guys. And it was coalescing with, my work in the office of my dad's shop and knowing that we needed software. And so it all started to kind of come together. Anyway, so that's a moment, that was sort of an aha moment when I realized, okay, I think I know what I want to do. Fast forward a few years and we had our first customers, and I remember, and I don't even think I had expressly given our mission statement or anything to anyone, but I remember I got a call from a guy in tears, our customer, one of our first customers, called me in tears and he said, I just have to tell you this story. I think you'll like it. He said, my wife's, it was her mom. Okay. My wife's mom has cancer and my wife has been in the office and unable to keep up with being with her mom and running the shop, the office. And now since we have your software, she's been able to spend all her time at her side while running the business.
Nice.
And it just, I lost it,
Yeah.
It was that moment of, okay, if for nothing else, I've helped one person.
Somebody.
What I fast forward, those guys, they built a business, they scaled it and they sold it and they exited. And it's such a fun story for me to know that not only did we relieve them of the drudgery, but they scaled and sold
freedom,
and now they have complete freedom. And and that's not, I'm not here to tout my software. There's lots of software that helps companies, and my point is, find a way to scale, find a way to get out of the drudgery and to get somewhere where you can scale your business.
Yeah, that is great. I love hearing that. So they got time freedom, and they got space freedom, and a tragic story, family story, like just a real story that there's no money attached to that. That is like the most human guy. Got to go take care of my mom.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and even if you
And
end the story at, I spent more time with my mom in our last year,
perfect.
that's it. That's a success. But then they went on to exit, and
Yeah.
so it was
Yeah.
definitely a huge moment for me.
So I can't give everybody a takeaway message from today. It's going to be your job, but that find a way that both you and I said at the same time, that's what I want to put in everybody's mind who's listening to this episode is whatever your goal is as you're listening to this, because everybody's having a different takeaway from this meeting. You're already also thinking about what's going to stand in your way. And let's be adults about this. There's going to be something standing in your way. Let's just accept that 100%. The business coaching challenge I'm going to put to each of you is find a way. No is not an answer. We're going to go over that problem. We're going to go under it, around it, through it, or we're going to redefine it so it suits our purposes. But you don't have to accept no. You're a business owner, and the world will do what you want it to.
I think, in that find a way vein, it's human psychology, I think, to avoid. It's a very common human, I would call it flaw, to see something in your way and either put it off or put it to the side or walk around it. The more that you lean into that pain and that really scary thing, the really hard thing that you don't want to do today, but you need to do it first. Face it first, and you realize just how much everything else melts away, and your problems become decreasingly important over the time. And so systems and software and process are scary to you, lean into it. Just look them in the eye. It's not as scary as you think.
It's just a tool, right? Imagine the first time you sat down in front of a CNC, it probably intimidated you, whoever's listening. And now it's just a tool. You walk by it every day, you put your coffee down on the table, and you're like, oh, shouldn't put that there. But it's just a tool. It just sits there in the background. But at some point, you were intimidated by it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just as much as you're intimidated by a scissor lift or the first time the inspector came by and wanted to tour your shop. You're like, oh. And now they come by and you're like, hey, Jerry, how are you?
Absolutely.
Lean into it. Yeah, that's a great point. Wow, we covered a lot of real estate here. We covered a lot of ground.
Sorry for being all over the place.
No, this is what we're here to do. We're here to chat and add value to the people who listen. Because I'll tell you, the people who listen have chosen to be here. And let me put it another way. Everybody was invited and only the wise ones showed up. Yeah. And so they get to take the takeaway message, right? Yeah. Hey, if somebody wants to find you, Brady, in this big wide world, how do we hear more about what you're doing, learn more about you, find out stuff?
You can email me directly, brady@allmoxy.com. And that's a direct email address. I can't promise I'll answer immediately. Or you can go to allmoxy.com to see more about what my company does and connect with other members of my team. And find me on LinkedIn. I'd love to connect with you there.
Yeah.
And we're always at IWF, WFS. So find me there. Come find me. Just say hi.
Yeah. Some people may not know who you are. Do you mind just tell us in 10 seconds what Allmoxy is and does?
Sure. Allmoxy is a business operations platform for the wood industry. So we really shine with B2B manufacturing, online ordering of complex customizable products. That's our bread and butter.
Love it.
So we help you sell online and turn all of those sales into automations that run your business.
Yeah. And you and I, there's no, what do we say? We don't have a horse in each other's race. But just before we came on here, I was telling you one of our...
I'm trying to get a job when I retire. Right?
Yeah, well, at least you have an application open if you want. Okay. Yeah. But one of our coaching clients just moved from 9,000 square feet to 30,000 square feet. Actually, two did that, but the one I'm thinking of now, one of his side options, now that he's got his systems in place, his processes, we've got the team aligned. There's somebody in his city who wants to sell their operations because he doesn't want to be in operations. He just wants to be in a different part of that industry. And it's $1 million line of business and it runs on your stuff. So he's about to, if he buys that company and just consumes it internally, he's going to add $1 million to his bottom line. And it's just runs on this. So it's kind of neat that amongst all that, you and I still hadn't spoken and now we're here together. So it's kind of fun.
Well, I will say, I mean, if you're ever thinking of an acquisition or exiting, I mean, private equity, they're going to look for systems, right? Will this company survive after?
They're going to ignore you if you don't have systems. I'll tell you that. You're out. You're not even in the table.
Absolutely. So find systems at scale and implement them.
Yeah. I think you caused yourself a problem here, Brady. You're probably going to be back on the show in the future. I think that was a great interview, and there's
I'd
obviously
love to be.
lots more.
I feel like we didn't even,
Scratch the
we didn't
surface. I
even,
know.
yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't scratch the surface. So I could talk for a lot longer on probably more important things.
Well, only Joe Rogan does 2.5 hour interviews. I'm not up to that level yet.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that either. I gotta pee more often.
All right, Brady, thanks for being with us. We'll have you back again in the future. Have a great day.
Sounds good. Thanks, Dominic.
Yeah, bye. Well, Mr. Brady Lewis, thank you very much for being a guest on the show. I thought it was a fantastic interview, a really good episode, nice high level perspective on how do you grow this thing without losing your mind. And we came back to many of the themes that we've talked about here on the show, whether you're listening on iTunes or on YouTube, about putting simple systems in place. And where do I start with the simple systems? And how do I keep them simple? And some of the tools available for you out there. As Brady said, and you've heard me say before, there just simply has never been a better time to be in business, especially our business, than right now. Never in the history of the world has there been a better time. There's more opportunity in front of you. There's more knowledge in front of you. There's more free knowledge. Listening to this show and getting to hear from Brady without having to call him up and set an appointment is incredible. Going to the AWFS, going to AWI events, going to KCMA events, the CMA, AWMAC, whatever your events, but go get the information. There's just no excuse anymore for not having access to the top minds in our industry and understanding what they're doing and what the challenges they're facing. Actually, I'll be speaking at the Energy Conference in Anaheim in February. If anybody's there, make sure you come up and say hi. Probably be wearing this blue vest, so pretty hard to miss. Come up, shake my hand, and like I said, like I always say, it's our chance to grab a cup of coffee or a glass of wine, and that's what I live for. So I'll be pretty excited to be there. Earlier in the show, I promised to give you an update on the Christmas Water Project, very exciting project that we've decided to do for 2026. The way that the audience is taking part is your action is simple, and then I'm going to donate fresh, clean drinking water to a very impoverished community in Nicaragua. Now, these people live next to an open pit dump, and they comb through the dump for things to sell and food. And it's just an incredibly tough existence. Of course, one of the things they don't have access to is clean drinking water. And so every time you do something, I'm going to donate 3 gallons of fresh, clean drinking water. And the action that you need to take is just like or comment on any video that you like or any podcast episode that you like. We keep track of that here. It's super simple. It's an easy to track thing. And in my mind, I think you're sitting there with one of your kids or one of your grandkids saying, hey, do you want to help somebody in Nicaragua? And you just like or comment any episode at all. Well, we count those. Last month, we were at 60, and we've been at 60 likes and comments per month for a long time. That's just our standard number. And those of you that work with us know that tracking the right numbers is critical and important. So what we decided was to attach the water project to that number. As of the end of December, we hit 288. Now I'm waiting for my metrics to come in because it's only Tuesday here and my meeting with my team isn't until later in the week. But we went from 60 to 288 in a month, which means I'm going to be donating 2,880 liters, which I haven't done the conversion into gallons right now, but it's a lot of gallons of fresh, clean drinking water. So thanks to all of you who've done that. If you haven't had a chance, go choose an episode that you like. Heck, choose an episode you hate and comment that I hate this on there. That all helps. All joking aside, no matter what you say, that adds up to something great for other people. Okay, on top of that, I promised to give you an update. Those of you who are in the one-on-one coaching program with myself, or you're getting coached with Jake, you're getting coached with Ryan, you're getting coached with Sebastian, Adam, or Pete, or myself. As you know, there's 3 business coaching meetings a month, 2 of those with your coach and 1 of them as a group mastermind. The agenda for the group mastermind has been revised for 2026, and I'll be talking about that here in January and also in February so that you can be prepared for the year. Those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, that's fine. Maybe one day you will if you ever decide to, but those mastermind meetings are only CEO level conversations where we talk about the very highest operating level of running this like a business. And so for those of you out there who are our clients, be aware of that change coming. Also for our clients, the Traeger giveaway, it's either Traeger, Tithe, or Omaha Steaks. And so just watch for that in an email. You'll see that when it's coming. Another thing that's coming up that you should be aware of is the foreman training. We are going to be running another foreman training here sometime in the first quarter. You do have to be on the wait list to get invited. That's the process we follow. Simple system. Get on the wait list, then get invited, then show up, make a decision there with your foreman or your supervisor, and then attend the class. So it's a bit of a longer process, but what that means is everybody in the class is 100% committed. Nobody's there to punch the clock. Everybody's very, very committed, and we get really good results from that foreman training. Those of you who are listening to this, like as it comes up, we're also holding the best year ever webinar series, something I do at the beginning of every year for goal setting. If you want to be in the best year ever series, again, just send me a cell phone. What am I talking about? Send me a text for any of those things. My cell phone number is 315-903-7853, and tell us what you want and we'll get you there. So that's an easy way to wrap up the episode. Again, a big thanks to Brady, and I'm looking forward to seeing those of you who I haven't seen in Anaheim in February for Energy, and you and I can finally have that cup of coffee or a glass of wine. Until then, we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks, folks.